Have you ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and thought, I worked so hard, but where did it all go? If so, you're not the only one. Millions of people across the country are doing everything they were told, going to work, paying their bills, trying to save a little, and yet, they still feel stuck. It's frustrating, and it's not always about how much you earn. Sometimes, it's about what you're unknowingly spending on. Here's something the wealthy understand. It's not just about making smart investments. It's about avoiding the silent money drains that chip away at your future. These aren't obvious mistakes. In fact, they often look like success. New cars, big weddings, even that vacation timeshare that sounded like a deal. But over time, they quietly steal your freedom. In this episode, we're unpacking 10 of the most common traps that keep people from building real wealth. Some might surprise you. Others, you might be dealing with right now. Let's dive in and take back control of your financial future. The toys that quietly sink your wealth. First up, those shiny toys that quietly sink your savings. They look like success, but they often end up gathering dust and draining your wallet. There's a saying among boat owners: the two best days are the day you buy it and the day you sell it. Sounds like a joke, but there's truth hiding in that punchline. Boats, vacation homes, jet skis, even fancy grills or golf carts, they feel like rewards, a sign that you've made it. But for many people, they become expensive reminders of money slowly slipping away. Mike from Tampa bought his dream boat for $65,000. What he didn't expect was the $7,000 a year in maintenance, insurance, docking fees, and the fact that he only used it 8 days a year. When he finally did the math, each outing cost him nearly $2,000. Luxury isn't the enemy, but ownership comes with a cost, one that often outweighs the joy. Wealth-minded people take a different path. They rent the experience, use apps like Get My Boat or borrow from clubs when they want the thrill, without the year-round burden. Ask yourself, is this something I'll use or something I want people to see me owning? Because true wealth isn't loud. It doesn't need a marina slip or a 7-car garage. It shows up in peace of mind, not price tags, chasing the new, while losing what really matters. Next, let's talk about the endless cycle of upgrading. New doesn't always mean better, and chasing the latest tech can cost you more than you think. Every year, a shiny new phone hits the market. A better camera, a faster chip, a sleeker design. And every year, millions of people rush to trade in their perfectly working device, spending $1,000 or more in the process. But here's the truth. The improvements are usually marginal. A slightly sharper photo, a slightly quicker app. And yet, the cost is real, financially and mentally. Robert from Denver looked back over the past decade and realized he'd spent over $14,000 on phones and tablets alone. Most of the upgrades? Unnecessary. If he'd invested that same money in the stock market, it could have grown to over $25,000. We're not saying don't enjoy tech, but ask yourself, do you need the upgrade, or do you just want the feeling of having something new? Wealth-minded people stretch the life of their devices. They buy last year's model, go refurbished, or simply keep using what still works. It's not about being cheap, it's about being intentional. In a world that's always shouting more, sometimes the wisest move is to pause. Because the race to keep up often leaves your finances behind. That new car feeling? It's the smell of your wealth leaving. Third on our list, that brand new car feeling. It smells like success, but it often comes with long-term financial fumes. There's something undeniably exciting about buying a new car. The fresh leather smell, the spotless paint, the tech features. For a moment, it feels like success. But that feeling? It comes at a cost far greater than most people realize. The truth is, a brand new car loses value the moment you drive it off the lot, about 15% instantly. Within 5 years, it may be worth less than half what you paid. That $40,000 SUV? Now it's worth $18,000. But here's the catch. If you financed it, you're still making monthly payments like it's worth every penny. And that's the trap. Most people don't buy cars, they buy payments. And those payments often include interest, insurance, taxes, and fees that quietly add up to $50,000 or more. All for something that gets older and less valuable every day. Meanwhile, people who build lasting wealth, they think differently. Warren Buffett drove a modest used car for years, not because he couldn't afford more, but because he understood that cars are tools, not trophies. Want a better approach? Look for something 2 to 3 years old, low mileage, and reliable. A gently used Toyota or Honda offers nearly the same experience, without the financial cliff. In the end, it's not about the car. It's about what that decision does to your future. Real success isn't parked in your driveway. It's built quietly, choice by choice. A piece of paradise. That won't let you go. Number 4, a vacation dream that turns into a financial nightmare. What starts as paradise can quickly become a contract you can't escape. It sounds like a dream, a cozy beachfront condo you can visit every year. A little slice of paradise that's yours. That's the promise timeshares sell. But behind the glossy brochures and smiling sales reps is a financial trap that many regret too late. It starts with a big upfront cost, often $20,000 or more. Then come the maintenance fees, typically $1,000 to $2,000 a year, whether you use it or not. And if you ever try to sell it, that's when reality hits. The resale market is flooded with owners desperate to get out, some willing to give their shares away just to escape the contract. Take Robert from Miami. He paid $30,000 for a Florida timeshare. 5 years later, he hadn't used it once and couldn't even sell it for $5,000. He wasn't alone. See, real freedom isn't about locking yourself into one location. It's about choice. Wealth-minded travelers rent when they want, where they want. They use Airbnb, hotel points, or travel clubs that give them flexibility and control. A vacation should be a break from stress, not a financial chain around your ankle. So before you sign that exclusive deal, ask yourself, do you want to own a place to escape, or escape owning a place? Because true wealth isn't built on contracts. It's built on clarity and knowing when to walk away. Wearing wealth, or just hiding the lack of it. 5th, let's talk about status. Because sometimes trying to look wealthy can be the very thing keeping you from becoming it. We all want to feel good about how we present ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with quality or beauty. But somewhere along the line, many of us started confusing looking rich with being rich. That $2,000 handbag, the $800 sneakers, the designer belt with a bold logo. These things have become symbols of status, proof that we've made it. But here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of people flaunting luxury are drowning in debt. It's the paradox of wealth. Truly wealthy people often dress simply. Warren Buffett wears inexpensive suits. Mark Zuckerberg is known for his plain gray t-shirts. They don't need labels to feel valuable, because their worth isn't worn on their sleeves. Meanwhile, many hardworking folks spend thousands to keep up appearances. Not because they're vain, but because society tells us success must be seen. But what if it's the other way around? That $500 pair of shoes? Invested in a low-cost index fund, it could be worth $2,000 in 10 years. Multiply that by a few impulse buys each year, and suddenly you're looking at a retirement fund, not just a closet full of stuff. Enjoying nice things isn't wrong. But when luxury comes before financial security, it's no longer comfort. it's camouflage. The goal isn't to impress strangers. It's to build a life where you don't need to. Real confidence doesn't come from price tags. It comes from peace of mind. We often think wealth is about making more, landing the right job, earning the next promotion, finding that one big break. But real wealth? It's quieter than that. It's built in the small, everyday decisions most people overlook. It's choosing not to buy the brand new car. It's skipping the impulse upgrade. It's saying no to the wedding you can't afford, the credit card balance you'll regret, the lifestyle that looks rich, but isn't. Every time you say no to what doesn't serve your future, you're saying yes to what does. And that's how wealth grows. Not overnight, but over time. Slowly, steadily, quietly. If this episode gave you a new perspective, even just one idea that made you pause, hold on to it. That pause is powerful. That awareness, it's the beginning of change. And if you know someone who might need this too, share it. These aren't lessons we're taught in school. They're passed from story to story, from one honest conversation to the next. Thanks for spending this time with me. And remember, you don't need to look rich to be free. You just need to choose differently, one decision at a time. $1 and a dream that rarely comes true. Coming in at number 6, gambling and the lottery. They sell hope but often deliver heartache and empty pockets. We've all seen it, the scratch-off tickets at the gas station, the glowing billboards advertising jackpot numbers in the hundreds of millions. And it's tempting. Just one lucky ticket could change everything, right? That's what makes the lottery so powerful. It doesn't sell tickets, it sells hope. But the math tells a different story. The odds of winning the Powerball are about 1 in 292 million. You're more likely to be struck by lightning, twice. Still, the average American spends nearly $400 a year on lottery tickets. That may not seem like much, but over 30 years, that's $12,000. And if you had invested that money instead, earning a modest 8% return, you'd have over $50,000. Now ask yourself, which would have helped your life more? A miracle or a plan? It's not just the lottery. Sports betting, slot machines, poker apps, they all create the illusion of control, of fun, of maybe this time. But over time, they often leave behind shame, stress, and empty bank accounts. Wealthy people do take risks, but calculated ones. They invest in businesses, real estate, stocks, places where time and skill increase their odds, not blind luck. This isn't about judging anyone. It's about waking up to patterns. If you want excitement, invest in yourself, learn a skill, build something. Because there's nothing more thrilling than seeing your real-life goals become real-life wins. And that kind of payoff? It's not random, it's earned. Credit cards can feel like a lifeline. They help you cover an unexpected bill, enjoy a night out, or buy what you need when cash is tight. But for millions of Americans, they slowly turn into a cage. According to the Federal Reserve, the average household with credit card debt owes over $6,000. And with interest rates often north of 20%, that balance doesn't just sit there, it grows, quietly, relentlessly. Take Dave, for example. He bought a new couch and TV on credit, figuring he'd pay them off in a few months. But life got busy. Payments slipped. 5 years later, he was still paying, and had already shelled out nearly double the original price. That's the trap. Minimum payments. They look manageable, but they're designed to keep you in debt as long as possible, while the bank collects interest month after month. But here's the shift. Credit isn't the enemy, it's a tool. And like any tool, it can build or it can break. People who build wealth use credit differently. They pay their balances in full every month. They earn points, cashback, and perks without giving the banks a dime in interest. If you're stuck, there's a way out. Focus on your highest interest card first. Pay it down while keeping up minimums on the rest. It's called the avalanche method. And it works. Because true financial freedom doesn't come from avoiding all debt. It comes from not letting debt own you. For generations, we've been told that college is the ticket to a better life. And in many cases, that's still true. But what happens when the price of the ticket keeps rising and the destination no longer guarantees a return? Today, a 4-year degree can cost over $100,000. Yet, many graduates walk into jobs paying $35,000 a year, while carrying debt that lingers for decades. That's not just disappointing, it's financially dangerous. Jennifer, a bright student from Ohio, graduated with a visual arts degree and $60,000 in loans. Her first job paid $32,000 a year. 5 years later, despite steady payments, her debt had barely moved, buried under interest and low wages. The problem isn't education itself. It's the mismatch between cost and value. Smart families now ask different questions. What's the return on this degree? Are there faster, more affordable ways to enter this career? Could certifications, trade schools, or community college offer the same outcome for less? We're living in a new era where information is everywhere, but wisdom is rare. So before you sign up for a $100,000 decision, take a step back. Because the goal of education isn't just to learn, it's to build a future you can afford to live in.